Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Paul, Mindwarped, Flatzoid, Chocolate Sane, and Arwin. Very good to have you all.
Good afternoon.
Good to be here.
Good afternoon.
And 10th man.
Oh, and 10th man. My bad. Black icon.
Check my volume.
Yeah, you're all good. Any signs of Earth curvature, gentlemen?
Nope.
That is a negative.
Not even in Google Maps.
Concealment's definitely not due to curvature.
But axial rotation of the Earth-based variety? Any of that?
No.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No, there's no confirmed measured distance to the sun.
None at all.
Nope. Not at all.
Right, evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container?
Definitely not.
That's like asking for the square root of -1, but the actual result. It's not gonna work out.
Any Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No. Where's Travis now? No.
Gravity is not a force.
No.
George Musser,
There's
2019.
definitely evidence of gravity presupposing going on.
Shout out to Del West Watson for the super chat. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Nope.
No.
No.
I don't think so, but I think you can think of it like if there were really.
See, there's no evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth, but you can think of it as though there were.
Yes.
Well, that's what we're learning, aren't we? That if you wear white lab coat, you can just think of it.
Can you just say a few more words, Arwin?
Yeah, you just conjure it into existence with your mind.
Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
No.
Nope.
Hey, Sleeping
Definitely
Warrior.
not.
Good to have you. That concludes the housekeeping.
You forgot one.
Riley.
Did
You
I?
forgot the gas pressure without a container, Nathan.
No, I did ask.
No, I didn't.
Oh?
We did do it.
I just did it in a different order.
Oh.
I like to mix it up occasionally. Thank you for taking part. That concludes the housekeeping.
Hey, Nathan.
Hey, Tony, I
Oh.
heard you on... sorry.
I was just going to say, Jose had an unscheduled or like an unusual timed hangout today, and it was really, really good. I woke up at 5 a.m. at first light, and I just flicked to see who was on, and Jose was on, and I thought, got morons in there. Let's go in and kill some ballers. And it's,
Yeah, I heard you on there.
it's amazing. How
You did well.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people don't understand what an independent variable is.
Maybe they just
Yeah,
don't want to understand it.
It was good listening. I had it on while I was at work. I thought you did quite well.
Good. Any more for any more? Just people not understanding independent variables. That was the main topic. Yeah, that's right. Like independent variables.
Nice,
I
dude.
had a phone call in the background. Sorry.
That's
Right.
all
So yeah, independent variables. It's amazing how many people on the Ball Earth side are not watching the show anymore, Nathan, because they all think that you don't have to wiggle the independent variable to prove the cause is what you claim it is with your effect. They don't think that you have to wiggle it. So for those that are unsure, the people specifically that I'm referring to are Sean Hawkins, that MC Toon. He was in there, polite, he was relatively polite and affable, but doesn't realize that you've got to wiggle the independent variable. So it tells me that the flat earthers are not pushing this message enough. You've got to wiggle the independent variable, otherwise it's not a scientific experiment. It's that simple.
And the other thing they were going on about was a force. But what started that force? What was the push? And you kept explaining it to them, and they couldn't understand it.
Yeah, so in the egg experiment with the salt water that I did recently on my channel, if you haven't seen it, go and check it out so that you know what I'm referring to. Basically, in scientific method, it states that the independent variable is the presumed cause that the experimenter will manipulate in the experiment, right? When you wiggle it and then you prove that you've wiggled something and that did something, that in scientific method is the cause. Now, what they didn't want to do was accept that the change in the medium was the cause. They dismissed that and instead argued that it was gravity in some way, buoyancy, this force being a buoyant force pushing up. And I'm like, well, for you to do that, you have to dismiss scientific method, because scientific method states that the thing that I wiggled is the thing that caused the effect. Now, it's not the thing that you infer thereafter with a bit of maths. It's the thing that I wiggled. That's why I emphasized it in what Jeremy would describe as a creepy way, because that is scientific method. If I manipulate it, I cause it. Now, they want to infer that there was some extra with a bit of maths, and I wouldn't let them, and they don't like that because I'm telling them no. Well, guess what? The thing that causes things in an experiment is the thing that you manipulate yourself. But if they want to say that there's an additional cause, they've got to prove that cause. Otherwise, it's a baseless assertion, and they can't prove that there is a gravitational buoyant effect. But I can prove that there was a change in density, and that's why I measured it with my ppm meter. They just don't like being told that they don't know scientific method.
Their problem.
But it was quite pleasant though. It was quite polite, and everybody was being respectful. So credit for the people that were in there being respectful. MC Toon was respectful. Sean Huffraud, audio guy, doesn't know what a frequency spectrum and analyzer is. He was politeful and respectful. But he brought that up today. It's been dead and buried for months, and for some reason he brought it up today, and he wanted to attack me on it for some reason. And I was like, really? We established that who was doing what in that. And he's like, no, Anthony, we didn't, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, right. So without any prep here, I'm not going to be able to go through this to see what claims that you're making. But yeah, it seems that Sean wants round two.
That's why I actually listened to it, because I was like, you guys were having a good debate and it wasn't getting archy. Like, you were all really respectful to each other. So I enjoyed it. It was really good.
It's good when we can do it like that. It's only bad when you get people like Sean Hawkins, who basically claims that he proved something and he never presented any evidence whatsoever to prove anything, but claims a proof. And I'm like, Sean Hawkins, that's totally and fundamentally dishonest of you to do that. Why would you do that? The guy's a moron.
So not being on that show, was there any tension created by good questions by you, Anthony?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say
there was one.
There wasn't really.
There was one when.
Go on.
It was when you were going to show proof, and you asked them, if I showed you this proof, would you accept it? And then they're like, they started arcing up a little bit once you started doing that.
So that was in relation to the claim that ball earthers make that the for every 69 miles of lateral direction that you travel, the stars will the North Star Polaris will move by 1 degree. That's the claim they make. However, I can prove that that's not true. And I said, if I was to demonstrate this right now, would you accept that that claim is not true? MC Toon said, yeah, it'll slow down as it gets towards the horizon. And he said, and I said, that's true. And he said, and we know why it does that. And I said, doesn't matter for why. The claim is that the stars move 1 degree for every 69 miles. and you've just accepted that the stars don't do that, and you've got an explanation for it. That's fine, but as long as we establish that the stars do not move at 1 degree every 69 miles, then that claim is gone. But for some reason, Sean Hawkins decides that he keeps wanting to bring this up. Didn't realize that there was a concession, and we've moved on from the point.
Isn't that their same excuse for the tilt, though? Like, that's why we don't see buildings leaning away, tilted away from us, because it's 69 miles to see 1 degree of tilt, but yet we can see the curvature, or we could see obstruction due to curvature at, I don't know, 3-4 miles away. This makes no sense at all.
So I asked that question because I really enjoyed yesterday's questioning by Nathan on Gummy Bear. Spurs Chemo's guest. You all remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh,
Spurs brings
okay.
one of his recovery patients to this channel. And Spurs has been doing let me cuddle you. Oh yeah, you've got, here, let me rub your back. Comes on this channel, and Nathan
White knighting.
just gives him the truth. Bang, tension created, silence, people interrupting, Nathan saying, no one talk, silence is golden. Finally, every argument Gummy Bear gave broke down. Spurs Chemo would never get there with his huggy bear attitude. What Nathan did to Gummy Bear yesterday was an act of love, waking him up.
Don't
It was
underestimate
fantastic.
what Spurs is doing. So, if you were the Gummy Bear guy, right? So this guy comes along to you, seems to empathise with the situation, puts his arm around you and says he can show you the light. And where does he take him? Well, to the lion's den.
Yeah, exactly.
Feeds the guy to lions. That's us, by the way.
But it was when you look at it from another perspective, which is ours, you were caring for him to tell him the truth and invalidating all his false premises. That is the way you show love to somebody, is to share the truth, not goof around.
Yeah, big shout out to Spurs. Thank you very much indeed. Long may it continue.
Yeah, bring some more.
Yeah, Spurs gets the thick end of it sometimes because he's playing devil's advocate. And then when his position gets shattered, he, like anybody who's put a position forward, even if they don't necessarily hold that position, they take it personally, which is understandable, but he wants the arguments he gets given by the other side to work. He really does. As weird as that sounds, because he's not on their side.
Well, what was funny is he said, because I listened to the show twice, he said, he needs time. This is all new to him. He just needs time. I mean, this is an adult we're talking about. How much time does he need?
All these personal
I don't know if
considerations.
Spurs is like doing an act or if he's like much smarter than he appears, you know, and he's orchestrating something.
Spurs is a smart guy. There's no doubt about that.
He'll have the last laugh at the end. I brought them all to you through kindness and puppy bear love.
I definitely don't underestimate Spurs.
I like him.
I feel like he's like there's flat earthers like us that they won't talk to. Like ballers will never come on you. There's ballers that will never come on your show. Like never. Spurs will, and he can be that like intermediate. You know, that like, oh no, Nathan's not that bad. Come on, he'll bring him over. Like I think it's very good.
Because Spurs is a nice guy. He'll work with them. He'll let them beg the question. He'll let them, you know, a firm consequence all day, and it's okay, you know. But they're not going to do any of that crap here. So that's the problem.
Pete Shea says Spurs is acting his part of the Potato Oakley crew. Now the Potato Oakley crew. Thanks, Spurs. Thanks, Pete.
Yay.
So we're all chips on the panel?
I don't know how he feels about you lot.
No, potato chips.
Oh, I'm definitely an agent, according to Pete Shea. Shout out to Pete Shea.
Potato Shay?
He's merged me with Patricia because
Shout out retracted.
yeah, indeed.
I was waiting for that.
So when I first started, before Flat Earth Debate existed, the show that I ran was called Flat Earth UK, and it was basically a carbon copy of Patricia Steer's show, if I could wrap my tongue around it. So Patricia Steer's show I looked up to, I thought it was great, and I wanted to emulate it. And I made it very, very blunt that that's what I wanted to do. I even told her, I was like, I've basically copied you because I think you've got a great show, and I'd like to be like you. I hope she took it as a compliment, but there we go. But that's obviously now massively changed. But he's mushed together Hot Oakley, as in potato, flat earth and other hot potatoes, and me, Oakley. That's what he's doing.
Well, what the ball busters we had yesterday?
You have a ball busters yesterday? What was it about again?
Oh, the Google Earth maps that show no vertical drop.
Oh, right. Yes, that was a very interesting situation. Having Globers ask me, a flat earther, if I should expect to see drop, given that we've spent 4 years arguing about how much drop there should be. Amazing turn of events. Check it out, Ballbusters 13, the flat earth model.
Is this Google Earth, is it?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
That's a good segue
Oh,
into
cool.
what I
People
was
can
going
hear me.
to present.
Say again? I had two people talking. I think Wiggles was one of them.
Yeah, I just wanted, I was curious, you were saying that the Google Earth round the spherical model is a flat Earth model. Is that what you're saying?
It shows the world's flat. That's correct, Wiggles. Did you watch the show yesterday?
Vaguely. I've seen what you guys were saying about how, since the elevation at the ocean, at the shoreline of Google Earth is about 0 everywhere, that means that it's flat.
Well, between two locations, there's no drop.
Well, I guess the easiest way to try and explain that is, what's the height of a point on a surface above the surface?
Well, on the elevation profile, above that flat straight line, you mean?
No, I mean, like, say you had a basketball, right? And
We didn't. Oh, you're misunderstanding. Obviously, you didn't watch enough of the show. We weren't presenting it in a basketball. It was being presented in an oblong box with a flat bottom, referencing the different elevations versus that flat line wiggle. So there were no basketball-sized or shaped boxes in that Google Earth presentation. Check it out again.
No, but like Google Earth, like it just basically gives you like a giant basketball, and it shows you the Earth, the surface of the Earth, like sort of painted onto that basketball, right?
Oh, you mean the graphical representation of the sphere Earth you can use to compare to the actual measured, referenced, flat surfaces that they actually show in the measurements, you mean? That you mean?
Oh, it's like, you know, when you zoom out, it's a giant ball, right?
Yeah,
Google
yeah,
Earth.
it's there for comparison's sake. As a flat Earth model, that's just used to show the reification and where people like you believe they live. Obviously, we made it very clear in the presentation, it's not where we live. That would be a reification fallacy. It's just a model. So zooming out and saying, well, that's what Earth is ludicrous.
But yeah,
Wiggles,
all to
for a
scale,
few minutes,
right?
Wiggles, try to focus past the cartoon and focus on the numbers, right? You guys like numbers, you guys like math. Well, focus on that. Where the hell is the drop?
Yeah,
Where
point A,
is
0.
curvature, Wiggles?
Point B, 0. Elevation profile shows 0. Compared to a reference of a flat surface. So if it's measuring 0, referencing 0, and showing it on a flat plane, then where are you getting any drop from? It's not showing any drop. There is no drop.
Well, I left a comment on one of your videos, because this whole thing, like, the Globers are kind of laughing at you a little bit, Nathan, about
That's
how
not a
you're
rebuttal.
not understanding
That's not a rebuttal.
spherical
That's
coordinates.
not a rebuttal. I have replied to about 100 comments of people saying we're laughing at you, Wiggles. That's not a rebuttal. There's no drop. Now I'd like you to specifically address that. Not how much you're laughing. I don't care, that's not a rebuttal. There's no drop being shown. Do you understand what I've just said?
Well, yeah, you're saying that the elevation is the same even if you go...
No, that's not what I said. You're
1,000
deaf.
miles.
You're deaf and stupid. Repeat after me. Repeat. That means say again. There is no drop. That's what I said, Wiggles.
Well,
not
there
the
is no
shit.
change in elevation.
Not the shit that you just came out with. That's not what I fucking said, is it? You've got one opportunity to repeat verbatim the words I've just used, something you've already demonstrated you're incapable of. In the last 30 seconds, you've demonstrated you're incapable of it. Now, you listen to me, you little bastard. If you paraphrase something that I've said, rather than repeating it verbatim, you won't ever get another opportunity to be here. I am furious with little shits like you, who when asked to repeat what I've fucking said, repeat something totally different. Now, either you are absolutely retarded, or you're deaf, or you're just a total wanker. I don't give a fuck which one of those three it is. If I say something and ask you to repeat it, I don't expect a paraphrasing from the brain of Wiggles. I expect you to quote me verbatim. That's not what you've just done. So, given that I've had a little preamble to your repetition, let's see if you can manage to actually quote what I said.
Okay, sure. So, quote, there is no drop, and quote,
Right.
Nathan Oakley.
Shut up. Quote, there is no drop. Now, do you want to address that with an actual rebuttal?
Yeah. The reason you think there's no drop is because you're confusing Cartesian coordinate systems and spherical
Excuse
coordinate
me,
systems.
there was no confusion. It was on screen. The definitions were given, and then it was visually and pictorially fucking obvious in a square box. Not confusing anything. It was there, visually demonstrated to an audience of hundreds of people. No confusion at all. Demonstrated, visually obvious. No Wiggles. We weren't confused.
Well, when you're talking about square box, are you talking about the elevation profile?
Yeah, the stuff that measured zero. Yeah, we discussed this only moments earlier, did we not, Wiggles? I thought we went through this. Chocolate, you
Well,
there?
you're saying square box.
Shut up! Chocolate, you there?
Yes, sir.
Can you repeat to Wiggles what you've already told him? Because he's deaf and stupid and retarded.
Yeah, Wiggles, stop focusing on the cartoon little ball that they show you. Focus on the math. There is no drop. There is no curve. Okay? Focus on that. Why is there no drop? Why does the elevation profile show completely flat? Why is that, Wiggles?
Okay, yes. So the reason that the elevation profile shows completely flat is that you're measuring the height of the surface above the surface over a bunch of points across a distance. So
That's not an
that
explanation
distance
for
will-
why it's showing flat. It's showing flat, and you're
Yeah,
saying because it's
it
measuring
is.
flat. So your explanation is it shows flat because it measures flat. Yeah, that's what we would argue. So that's not a rebuttal either. That backs our point. You idiot!
Well, it shows, like, Nathan, it's the same sort of concept as, like, what if you measured the height of
Excuse
the
me.
surface of a
Excuse me.
basketball
No.
above
No.
the
Wiggles.
basketball?
Wiggles. We're looking for a rebuttal. Not a fucking distraction onto another subject, you red herring piece of shit. No! What part of this aren't you getting, you dumb fuck? There is no drop. You have not given a rebuttal to that. So let's not move past it and use some equivocation you want to use. No! There's no drop, Wiggles. You're going to address that and that alone.
Okay, yes. So, like, when you mouse over somewhere on Google Earth, it gives you basically three numbers, right? It gives you a latitude, a longitude, and an elevation. So, these are the three coordinates that are used to define your location on a sphere.
No, we're not on a sphere.
Wow.
So you're begging the question.
Well, if you're using a spherical, if you're using the surface of a sphere, it just makes sense to use spherical
We're not.
coordinates, which Google
We're not.
Maps does.
What? Sorry. What part of this aren't you getting? Did we use the surface of a sphere when we bought up that box?
Yeah.
No, you stupid idiot. It didn't have a curved bottom. It wasn't spherical. It was the antithesis of that, you stupid moron. Are you blind? Did you not go away and watch the show again? Clearly, having watched a little bit of it wasn't enough, because you're now declaring that it was based on a sphere. It wasn't!
Oh yeah, the box would be, you would get a flat elevation profile.
No shit! So, are you actually going to provide a rebuttal, or just keep backing our point? That's our point, Wiggles. You're backing our point.
Well, I just want to try to help you understand.
You're not
Cartesian
helping
versus
us.
Spherical
You don't
coordinates.
understand. Don't condescend to me. Yeah? You don't understand, you stupid retard. I've called you a moron about 5 times because of your misunderstanding. You've said it's referencing spherical. It isn't, you dumbo. So don't tell me I don't understand. You're blind. You can't look at something and recognise its shape. So don't tell me I don't understand, retard.
Like the elevation sorry, go ahead. Right?
Your point is that the elevation profile is documenting a slightly bigger circle around Earth, right?
No, the elevation profile is going to be flat even if you did a full circle.
I'm saying, but what you're trying to do is you're saying that flat elevation profile looks like that because it is mapping an a bigger circle that is equidistant around the Earth, right?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay, so we understand that. The problem with that is that you are now turning, you have eliminated straight lines from reality. Do you realize that?
What do you mean by eliminated straight lines from reality?
Okay, so in your model, when you just made level a curved line around the Earth, how would you verify that a line that is 1 mile long is straight with no curves?
How would I verify that in reality?
Yes.
Well, using that like ship disappearing over horizon experiment.
How would that verify that a line is straight? You're trying to construct a straight line. What is your standard of straightness? Because you've just bent level.
Well, the Earth bent itself. I guess I didn't.
But how do you? So what do you use to make sure something is straight? What's your level? In my world, I would use a level.
He's answered
you. Can't use a level.
He's already answered. He's answered. He can't help it. He must do it because he's got a bloody religious belief in a sphere Earth. He must beg the question. He must make straight curved. He's already answered you.
Well, actually, no, I haven't really answered because I guess the reference would be like just like a beam of light, like a laser light or something. That would be a straight line reference.
Doesn't light bend?
A little bit. But...
Okay, so you don't have a straight line now.
That's no good then.
But it's straight enough over a short distance.
No, it's not.
Straight enough.
7/6R according to your model. According to your model, you've got this thing called terrestrial refraction. Have you ever heard of the term terrestrial refraction?
Yeah, I know. It's kind of
alright. According to terrestrial refraction, light bends at 7/6 of the begging the question fallacy known as R value. That's what you think light does. So I don't know where you're getting this shit from. So as he's rightly pointed out, you don't have level. You've got curves, and only curves. It must curve, right, Wiggles? It's all automatically assumed to be curving. Level is curve, according to you.
Well, when you look at those photos of like the CN Tower being obstructed
Just need a yes. Just need a yes. According to me, yes. Level means curved. Doesn't it, Wiggles? Yes, Nathan, yes. Not CN Towers, not another red herring. Yeah? You've come in here to try and defend the undefensible. So let's see how you get on. We're not talking about CN Towers. We're talking about the measurably flat plane Google represents. There's no drop, Wiggles. Still no rebuttal
Google
to
Maps
that.
is a spherical model.
Still no rebuttal. No drop.
Well, there is a drop in Cartesian coordinates. If you convert the
Cartesian
spherical coordinates Google Earth
aren't
gives you
what's being demonstrated. Are you dumb? Sorry, do you want to go and get something with Cartesian coordinates showing it bending around parallel with a curve? Because that's not what we showed. Did we, Wiggles?
You showed that the elevation profile was flat.
That's correct, Wiggles. So I don't know what the fuck you're going on about because that's not what we showed. So you can take your little straw man and toddle on, son. That's not what we showed.
I mean, I've made my points, so I wanted to actually ask.
You've made no points. You haven't offered a single rebuttal. They've been demolished. You haven't got a level curve, and that's not what we showed. No. We haven't got a level curve. That's not what you showed. That's not what's there. That's not what was presented. You have not offered a rebuttal. So saying, I've made my case. Oh well. Yeah, think you've won, because you haven't won, but you can think you have. Now piss off if you think you've won. You haven't, you moron. It didn't show it curving.
Hey, Wiggles.
Well, there is like some evidence for curvature of Earth that I also wanted to ask you about.
There was
Nathan.
no drop. You've come here to talk about that. You told us how
Actually,
everyone was...
I did
Now I want to know
talk
something
about
else.
something different.
Why is it that given you've offered absolutely no rebuttal, that anyone would find this funny? You've done appallingly. You've not offered a rebuttal. There is no drop. It all measures flat. You have not offered a rebuttal. So laugh it up and think you've won, dick brain. You haven't.
Hey,
Well, my
Wiggles.
rebuttal is that the elevation profile of a basketball would be flat. as well.
Excuse me, you stupid moron. Did you not listen when I said we didn't bring up a basketball-shaped box? Sorry, is your fantasist brain so thoroughly indoctrinated that when you see an oblong, you actually visualize a basketball? Are you that dumb? Are you that... This is ground zero right here. This is where the ballers have a meltdown. Because this is obviously the single piece of cognitive dissonance that they can't get past. That they literally, it fries their brains. They don't know what to do. When it presents a basketball, it doesn't present a basketball. You stupid mong.
And Nathan, I
Hey,
know
Wiggles.
your kind of modus operandi is like you like to be a troll. Not a
Here we
troll.
go.
You like to,
On to the ad hominem attack. I'll say it again for the audience. I'm not going to let you give me your little ad hominem attack, you little prick that can't quote people. No, you stupid bastard. You have not offered a rebuttal. So you don't just launch into ad hominem attacks, you little prick. Yeah? Who can't quote people. Liar. That's what you are. I'm not anything. You have not offered a rebuttal. Let's not launch into a series of ad homs.
Well, okay, would a rebuttal be proof for that Earth is curved?
Excuse me? Did you not quote what I made as my statement? There is no drop. It's not measured. It's not there. It represents it visually as flat. That's the claim. A rebuttal to that.
Nathan, maybe if you explain it one more time, he'll get it this time.
It's flat, Wiggles. It's flat. Shows flat, measures flat, demonstrates as flat. The Earth is flat. Give me your best rebuttal, you fundy zealot.
Okay, the rebuttal is that the elevation profile of a basketball would also be flat.
No, it wouldn't. It'd be curved, you... What?
No.
You think... Let me get this straight. Hold on. Just let me get this straight. You think a basketball is flat?
Oh my god, no. I mean the elevation profile of a basketball would be flat.
The elevation profile of a basketball would be flat. So you believe if you were on a basketball, there'd be no drop?
No, there's
Wiggles,
obviously...
you ever played basketball,
Excuse
bro?
me, I'm asking you a question.
If basketball...
Sorry, you believe there'd be no drop... Yeah, you just keep talking. You believe there's no drop on a basketball?
I never said that.
So you are attacking a straw man then? Let me say it again, Wiggles. Because the word you are trying to have a rebuttal for is drop. Do you understand that word that you have repeated, you utter imbecile?
I think we all understand the concept of like a tangent line. And a
Sorry,
surface drop away.
excuse me, Wiggles. Yeah. I have used a very specific word. You want to dance around it. It doesn't sound like you're laughing about this, does it? You came in and stated that this was funny and you were all laughing. You don't seem to be laughing, Wiggles. You're dancing around this drop that we don't have, aren't you?
Well, when I said it's funny, but it's not in a sympathetic sort of way, like us Globers
So
really
not
just kinda
funny
hope
in
you
a
guys would
ha-ha
be able
way, right?
to-
Yeah, not funny in a ha-ha way. We're laughing. We're laughing.
Nathan,
though,
Funny
Wiggles.
funny in a sad.
I find it funny because I find it funny. I find you,
I like to ask
the
Wiggles
zealot,
a question
funny.
when it's time.
Say again?
Trying to
Ten
get
Like
in
I was
here.
cut off.
All right.
I was just kind of trying to say that like we hope that flat earthers
Wiggles,
would
can
come
you
with
hear
us a
me?
rabbit
Yeah, it's just
hole.
going to launch into a load of ad hominem attacks. He still hasn't offered a
Wiggles.
rebuttal. There's no drop. But he's now
Wiggles,
launching
can
into
you-
ad hominem, isn't he? That's basically what he's doing. Saying he feels sorry for us, that this is stupid. He's not offered a rebuttal. He's not given any reason why there's no drop. But he wants to tell us that he feels sorry for us. What a wanker. Yet we think you're a fundy zealot. We feel sorry for you. We think you need mentally institutionalizing because you think level is flat. You're a moron. You hold contradictions as beliefs. You believe the sky is a vacuum, even though you know, quote Wiggles 2019, the gas would fill the space. You hold all these contradictions. I think you need institutionalising, and I feel a little bit, not much, sorry for you, for your pathetic position that you hold. You don't have a rebuttal to what we've put forward, yet you want to tell us that you feel sorry for us. No, Wiggles, you are pathetic. You don't have a rebuttal. You haven't offered one, and you're on to the ad hom straight away. Not in victory, not because we've demonstrated that we're stupid.
I'd like to ask
Okay,
Wiggles to clarify
that's all well and
something.
good, but there's actually another reason I came
Wiggles.
here this morning, Nathan.
Go ahead, 10th man. I've got no respect
Okay,
for you,
thank
Wiggles.
you. Wiggles, can you just please listen to my question and clarify something? You brought it up earlier. It got missed, but I wrote it down. When you brought up your basketball example, you said you measured the height of the basketball above the basketball. So you're measuring the air above the two surfaces, the A and the B on the Google Maps. So air is the curve. So are you saying curved line around the Earth is really the air? Please clarify.
Okay, all I said there was like if you measure the height of a point of the surface of the basketball above the surface of the basketball, obviously the distance is like 0.
If you're measuring the height of the basketball, but you're not going to use the basketball shape, you're measuring the air above the basketball. Is that what you said?
Well, no, just kind of forget about the air above the basketball. It's not really relevant.
No,
like,
you said
I'm saying, like,
you said measure the height of the basketball above the basketball. So what's above the basketball that we can measure? Air. You said that.
Just measure, like, pick a point on the surface of the basketball, and now measure the distance of that point from that point.
Hang on. Where can I, if I'm quoting you correctly, which I am, where can I put point A and B on air? The height above the basketball is air. Where do I put? Hang on. You said verbatim, I'm measuring the height of the basketball above the basketball. So what's above the basketball is air. Where do I put A and B to measure in air?
Okay, you put A and B in exactly the same point on the surface of the basketball.
You said above the basketball.
Well, yeah, I said above, but mathematically, I'm using a less than or equals kind of relation.
No. If you replay the show, you said I'm measuring when Nathan brought up why you're using a basketball. You said no. The reason I brought up basketball is to measure the height of the basketball above the basketball. So you're not actually measuring the basketball. You're measuring the height above the basketball, which is air. So where do you put point A and point B on air?
Well, I mean, it's important to clarify exactly what I meant, and that's what I'm trying to do now.
Okay, go ahead. Clarify.
So, yeah, so what I was saying with the basketball thing, like, is if you wanted to measure the elevation profile of the surface of the basketball with relation to the basketball itself, you're going to get a flat profile. Because what you're doing is you're taking a point on the surface of the basketball and measuring how far away that point is from itself.
We did that on Google Maps yesterday, from seashore to seashore, 4 feet up from each side. And we actually placed it on the seashores. You said in your statement that no, measure the height of the basketball above the basketball. So in your model, with your statement, Quantum Eraser could not put point A and B on the seashores of Sicily and Libya. He would have to put it somewhere in the atmosphere. Please clarify.
No, he would not put the points in the atmosphere. He'd put them right on the surface of the Earth or the surface of the basketball.
Okay, thank you very much. So since he put it on the surface of one seashore, A, Sicily, second seashore, B, Libya, 500 miles.
Not what he's doing, 10th man. He's equivocating. He's making us beg the question that when we measure point A to point B and observe no drop, the point being made, that if he begs the question and says Earth is a basketball, then it's even on all sides. If I assume it's a basketball, that's what he's saying. He's essentially weaseling in a begging the question fallacy. It's not going to work.
Right.
Yeah, we're not going to automatically assume, given that it's showing us it flat, that actually it's curved. That's what you apply with your fundamentalist religious belief. That's what you do. Just automatically assume that flat means curved. Yeah, you can do that. We're showing what it shows. It doesn't show curved, but if you want to assume that it's curved, yeah, you can assume that it's in a flat box because it's actually measuring a ring. You can assume it's in a flat box because it's actually measuring mushroom shaped. Yeah, you can assume a lot of things. What it actually showed was flat.
Well,
Right.
Mason, if you took the elevation profile for any surface above any surface itself, you would get flat. So you're kind of the one who is making the like the P implies Q, therefore P fallacy.
No, we showed it.
Yeah.
Again, are you blind? Did you not see what we actually showed? No, you would have
Well, Nathan,
to
if I
apply.
take,
I was still in the middle of talking.
silent
I was still in the middle of talking. You would have to apply an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy when you look at something flat and tell us that it's actually curving, when it's blatantly visually obvious that it isn't. So if you want to tell me that if the Earth is a sphere, then a rectangular box is curving, that rectangular box that I'm looking at with the flat bottom's actually curving, therefore the Earth is a sphere, then that's the worst and most useless example of an affirming the consequent. Even a retard wouldn't let them slip it by, because they can actually see that it's not curving. It's not presenting any drop. That's the point. Still yet to receive a rebuttal. All we've had is a begging the question fallacy attempt, and now an accusation that we're using and affirming the consequent when we look at a flat box and go, it's flat. Apparently, we're affirming the consequent, because if flat box then flat, flat box then flat, obviously that's logical fallacy rather than the blatantly fucking obvious. I'm still talking. Yeah, when you look at something and it's obviously just what it is, I don't need to affirm the consequent that it's something it isn't. You do. So how dare you accuse me of affirming the consequent when I just look at something and state the bloody obvious? You need to look at it and tell me it's curved, don't you, Wiggles? Yeah, you need to affirm the consequent. Not me, Sunshine. Not me.
Well, I mean, like, I understand how, like, the elevation profile, other people understand it. It seems like I don't have time to give a lesson on that, so
How dare you, you little prick? Give me a lesson on how a box is actually a ball. How a box is actually not a box. It's actually a curved surface with something running parallel to it. No, I'm not blind. This isn't you subtly pissing down my back and telling me it's raining. It's you telling me a square is a circle. That's what this is.
I'm not saying
watching.
that.
What? Why'd you keep interrupting me, you little prick? These bastards who tell you they live on a sphere are telling you, the audience, that a square is a circle. That's what's happening here.
No.
Yeah, that's what you're telling me. I've got a box. You're telling me it's a circle. You're telling me that box is a basketball.
No.
Yes! What do you mean no? Hand wave dismissal. This is still not a rebuttal. A literal just no. That's a hand wave dismissal, my friend. Yeah? You're telling me that box is a circle.
That's what you're doing, Wiggles. You're saying curve is what John Quantum Eraser did was he took Google Earth and showed that curve is flat based on the box. And now you took your own ball and showed the inside mechanisms of the side angle and it showed a flat. And you can't handle that.
Yeah. That
Because you guys were saying that we're flat is curved, now curved is flat, and you can't handle curved being flat.
Well, this is sort of a whole silly thing, because, I mean, no matter what surface you take an elevation profile of, if you have a perfectly smooth surface, no bumps, and you take an elevation profile
We've heard it with examples. This is not a rebuttal. You're trying to tell us that there's drop, that we experience Earth with drop. It doesn't show drop. It puts it in Muppet Vision, your favourite vision, side profile, and shows no drop. You got a rebuttal yet? Because I haven't heard one. Has anybody on the panel heard a rebuttal from Wiggles? Because there hasn't been one. String of ad homs, few logical fallacies. No rebuttal though.
None.
Okay, I've got a rebuttal for you, Nathan. Here's my rebuttal. Let me dig up the quote. It's Nathan, a while ago on one of your episodes, way back when you're talking about the Isle of Man. There's a quote, Nathan, perfect globe proof, end quote.
Our arguments with Volson.
March 2018.
When you're bringing something up from like a year and a half ago, it holds no relevance now, just saying.
I've heard this quote a million times.
When you had the Ethereum Mirage last year and you thought that was Earth curve, yeah, things have changed, mate. Things change.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Nathan about that.
This is not addressing. This is addressing me on an issue from about a year ago on the Isle of Man, in specific reference to bulge and a light being projected from a lighthouse. Correct?
Well, I'm asking you when.
Just say
in the
yes.
back chat,
Yeah, this is a quote that will in no way be a rebuttal to the total lack of drop. So that argument from that quote, surprisingly enough, was about drop. How much drop there should be between two locations. Apparently there was a load of drop. Well, now we're saying that when you look at it in side profile, there's no drop wiggles. So that quote absolutely in no way provides you with a rebuttal to the lack of drop that's being demonstrated in a square box you want us to believe is circular.
Well, the quote was like just, it was you, Nathan, saying that something was a perfect globe proof.
And?
Well, why would you say that?
Well, because if the Earth was a sphere, we'd have a perfect globe proof. I can affirm the consequent too. So what? Does my quote about something potentially being a perfect globe quote with other words around it about lighthouses and beams being projected, do you think that's in any way a rebuttal to the absolute and total absence of a drop demonstrated and shown mathematically on Ballbusters last night with the maths for how much drop there should be when there's no drop being demonstrated? Do you think that's a rebuttal to that? I'll tell you, it isn't. It's just another cheap ad hom.
No, it's not an ad hom. You did actually.
It's directed at
say
me.
That in
So you're directing. It's my quote, isn't it? So you think a quote from me that doesn't in any way address the lack of drop isn't an ad hom?
I was like, you said.
You. So this is definitely directed at me then.
Well,
so you. This is definitely directed at the man then. At me. At the man. Ad hominem.
It's something you said, right? And it was just kind of
weird
that you said something.
Yeah, it's just something you said, you bonehead. Do you not know what ad hominem means? At the man. You're attacking me. Something I said. You're not attacking the point, which is that there's no drop, you fundy zealot.
Wiggle, stay on
why
topic.
Would you say something is proof of the globe?
See, he can't help himself. Apparently, this is funny, ladies and gentlemen. They want us to believe a square is a circle. Something visually obvious that even a retard could recognise, but yet he hasn't got a rebuttal to it, and all he can do is ad hom me with an old quote. I saw this in the comments on Ballbusters as well, and that got the same response. This is not a rebuttal.
Listen, a lot of us globers, like in baller, like we kind of suspect that you're also a baller, but you're.
Ad hom, nothing but ad hom. Last chance. This is your last chance, and I'm just going to kick you to the woodshed. You're not worthy of being here. You have not provided a single rebuttal in about 20 minutes. Nothing but ad hom.
I figured I would be kicked for accusing you of being a glober, because if, you know...
Yeah, that's an ad hom.
Probably are.
You just, you don't seem to get it. I say it over and over. It's an ad hom. You want to be this, and you are that. That's at the man. You're not addressing the argument point. There's no drop wiggles. We're supposed to be on a sphere. We get told all the time that there's drop. We get shown the maths for drop. We get calculating drop. Don't we, Wiggles? Yeah, here we are. There's no drop. None. And what? You're going to tell me that we don't have drop on a basketball? It's amazing. Suddenly we've got the Globers arguing for no drop. Amazing. Or ad homing the hell out of me. Ad homing me. Telling me I'm stupid, right, Wiggles? Yeah, you haven't bought anything here. Pathetic. pathetic little weasel. All you've got is ad hom, mate. No rebuttal to the point we made on Ballbusters. Just like the people in comments. You've got nothing. Nothing. Bring it on, mate. Bring on your ad homs. Bring on your quotes from a year ago, you pathetic weasels. This is the best you got, ballers. You should be trying to convince us a square is a circle. And all you can do is bring up quotes from a year ago.
Yeah,
Wiggles,
that's pretty pathetic,
a
Wiggles.
script that's designed
Wiggles,
to not let
Wiggles,
me speak.
you got.
Well,
you've got
Wiggles, don't
ample
talk
on-
about a script, because
Wiggles,
last night
excuse
you
me.
told me you were going to accuse him of being a baller and see what he did. So
Yeah,
you're
just
you're being so dishonest and unintentional. You were being honest for the first like 5 minutes. We get here's the thing. The entire point that he's trying to show you is that if we take elevation, right, and it's 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 straight across the board, wouldn't you assume that that elevation is a straight line instead of a curved one? Because if you got 5, 10, 20, then 5, then 8, then 20, you would think the elevation went up and then down and then up and then down. So we get all the same numbers. We should have a straight line straight across. Just like if we got potentially higher numbers, we should have an inclined landscape. So where are you just assuming or manifesting this round ball from?
Wiggles
Yeah, so
ran
all
out
I'm
of
saying-
proof.
Hold on, let him answer.
Wiggles.
Hold on, let him answer.
Okay, yeah. So I'll try to give you an answer, Nathan, so you can work out how to make it sound like you can rebut it to other people. I'll help you out. I don't mind. So like, so the real actual mathematics of this is like whatever surface you take, if it's a perfectly flat, smooth surface, and you do the elevation profile of that surface.
So Wiggles, I'm going to stop you because we know that. We know if you take the profile of
Repeat
any
the same
surface, and since the place you're taking the measurement from a little bit above the surface, and you just go around the surface in a perimeter, yes, we know the profile will be the same. The question is not that. The question is, when presented with an unchanging elevation, why do you then assume that the landscape is a ball and not a flat plane?
Yeah, it's kind of annoying because I got like my internet open here, and then I've got my folders where I saved the quote that exactly explained how to perform that.
If you can't explain it yourself right now, why do you accept it? If you said to me, write the hand, why do you believe the earth is flat? I wouldn't have to go, hold on, let me get a video. It'll explain it. I would just spew it forth from the truth of my mouth. Why do you need to divert your thoughts to something else? You can't give me from your brain why you would think a static elevation number would result in a circle?
Okay, I'll try to vaguely explain it. So like the elevation profile of a sinusoidal surface would be a flat line. The elevation profile of a sphere would be a flat line.
Dude, we get that. We understand that. We get that.
Okay,
now, why do you think when you get a static number that the Earth is a ball and not a flat plane? Because like I said, if it went 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, wouldn't you think it was a triangle-like inclination? Right? Yes or no? Don't go off. Just answer that question, please.
Well, no, even a triangle.
No, just answer that question. If the elevation chart said 5 feet, 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, wouldn't you think the landscape went progressively inclined?
No, because if you're measuring the elevation profile of a perfectly flat or perfectly smooth triangle.
You don't know what it is. You're just seeing the elevation profile. So you have no idea about the floor. All you know is the elevation profile. So if I told you this point is 5 feet, then this point is 10 feet, what would you think the land was doing? We're talking about like you get what I'm saying? It's going, you're getting a higher elevation. What do you think is happening to the land?
So like the elevation profile on Google Maps measures the elevation relative to the geoid.
Did I ask you about Google Maps?
Sort of.
No, I didn't. When did I mention Google Maps?
No, it's all right. What he's got to do
Maps?
is he's got to beg the question. He's got to say, that square box is circular because they say it's circular. That's what he's doing.
I'm trying to cut off all his routes, so he has to say that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what exactly is your question then? Right the hand.
Okay, I'll say it for the fifth time. So you get we have some sort of drone that can float above the surface, okay? And it gives you a data point of how far above the surface is, and we send it out, okay? And you can't see it or anything. And it comes back and it gives you that it was 5 feet above the surface, and then it started going higher, okay? Because it's following the surface, but it's going higher in the air relative to where it was before. What do you think the surface underneath that elevation chart is doing? Is it a curve down, or do you think it's curving up in an incline?
Well, in order to get an elevation profile, you first need to know the surface which you are measuring your elevation relative to.
Wouldn't it all be relative to the first point?
Okay, so the elevation profile given on Google Maps is relative to the
I didn't
geoid.
bring up Google Maps. Why do you keep resorting to that? We're talking about how me and you would do this.
Yeah, so if me and you were going to send a drone off and we were going to get some numbers, we would first need to know the geoid. We would need to know the shape of the Earth.
Okay, so before we can take a singular slice of the pie, we have to know the whole pie?
Why are we speaking in metaphors? If you want to measure...
Okay, I'll stop the med. So before I can measure 1 square mile of the Earth, I have to know the entire layout of the Earth?
That's not...
Yeah, that's basically what he said. He said if you're going to figure out the shape of the Earth, you need to know the shape of the Earth. That's what I heard.
I'm not even trying to figure out the shape of the Earth. I'm just trying to take some measurements of 1 square mile, and you're telling me I need to know what the entire Earth looks like? Couldn't I take a 1 square mile measurement, right? Then go next to that and take another one, and then start building a model of what I think the Earth is?
You must assume it's a sphere. He just won't say it. Say it, Rumpus.
No,
I mean,
it's not that you must
Rumpus in
assume.
chat. Say it, Wiggles. No, we've got to assume it's a sphere. Just say it.
What you've got to do is know the shape of the geoid first.
Oh, the
in order to
geoid.
measure
See?
a
Told
elevation
you.
profile.
He's got to beg the question. Know the shape of the geoid. So you already know it's a geoid shape. So you know it's basically a sphere, right?
Geoid means shape of the Earth.
Yeah, let's not argue about
whatever the
what
shape of
fucking
the Earth
geoid
is.
means, you stupid dick. You are begging the question and assuming it's a sphere, are you not?
Not in this case, no.
Just a liar, lying piece of shit. Geoid. He's basically saying, let's assume it's a geoid.
Geoid, the hypothetical shape of the Earth.
Can't admit
coinciding with
it.
mean
He can't
sea
admit
level
it.
And it's a
Right the
maximum
hand.
extension under overland areas.
He cannot admit it. I've got him
Wait,
to
right
all
the-
but
right
admit
the
it
hand.
with his
Read that
declaration
again?
of... Right the hand. I've got him to all but admit it with his declaration that he's going to use a geoid. So he's automatically decided what shape it is. Geoid shape. Right, Wiggles?
Well, Nathan, to give you
Wait,
some
right-
perspective,
right the
I'm
hand.
like...
See, he won't do it.
Read
He
that-
won't just
read
say,
that definition for me again.
geoid shaped. Yeah, that's what I just said. He won't just repeat it. I've got him to say it. Yeah, that's what I do. This is my job, right? He said it. It's going to be geoid shaped. He's begging the question. He's already decided what shape it is. Geoid shaped. Now, when I get him to confirm it, because that's the obliteration of his argument, when I prove he's begged the question, yeah? He won't just admit again that he said, yeah, we're going to assume it's geoid shaped. Because he's an asshole with a fundy belief. He needs to sidestep that clear admission he made. We will be assuming it's a geoid. Won't we, Wiggles? Let's see if you've got some humility, even though you've just said it. You were the one who declared it. I got you there. Just admit it again. We're going to assume it's a geoid, aren't we, Wiggles? You, that being not me.
Okay, can I have 20 seconds to respond?
No! You little prick. I already know you declared that it was going to be begged. You said already it's going to be geoid shaped. We know you've begged the question, but you're a prick. And you can't just confirm where you've been battered, can you? Yeah, you've got no humility. Yeah, this is where I batter you. Again. You've been hammered, mate. Hammered. But you won't just say, yeah, I've begged the question. I've automatically applied my fundamentalist religious belief that it's a geoid and applied that. Yeah, he's taking you through measuring one thing being higher than the other, one thing being lower. The ultimate difference between just saying, yeah, that thing's higher than that thing, is that you would assume that it's on a fucking geoid. But you won't just admit that even though you've declared it.
Well, Nathan, I know you're a glober, and this is part of your script.
Yeah, back to the ad homs. All you can do, you pathetic little weasel, is beg the question. Assume your outcome. You can't prove it. And the things that actually demonstrate how flat it is don't support what you actually believe. They demonstrate that it's flat. Flat as a pancake. Earth is flat. But you telling me that I'm a glober, your ultimate goal here was to claim that I'm a glober. Let me make that absolutely 100% clear to anybody who is watching this. The Earth is obviously and observably flat. Measurably flat, demonstratably flat, and the only way the fundy zealot religious globetards who believe they live on a spinning sphere flying through space can prove otherwise is to beg the question and automatically assume that they're on a sphere, even though everything in our day-to-day lives demonstrates absolutely to the contrary. And with that, I'll say if you're watching on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be a short after show to follow. However, if you're watching this on the Nathan Oakley 1980 live stream, then this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and Google Plus Hangouts on Air panels for making this debate possible, and of course a massive thank you to all of you in the live audience for tuning in, smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing. I've been Nathan Oakley. Check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum at nathanoakley.com. I'll see you all in the next video, and stay tuned if you're watching on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!